All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to go live in just a few minutes on this Tuesday morning, Cinco de Mayo. All right, you guys ready? Let's hit it. Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Although, is there anything going on Cinco de Mayo in this new world, America 2.0? I don't know, but it's good to see that here in at least the state of Florida, that restaurants are opening slowly. 25% capacity, outdoor dining. We've all heard the stories, okay? But I'm going to be really quick today, and it is, again, Cinco de Mayo. It is 9:15 a.m., just before the markets open. We had a really bad start to the month of May, market-wise. We had a real ugly day Thursday and Friday. And yesterday, it was interesting. We were down 300 and change on the Dow right out of the gate, and then rallied to close positive. That's usually a good sign. And actually, I'd rather see that happen than the opposite. Now, the month of April, best month we've had since 2008 or 9 or something. I mean, it was really incredible numbers. And, of course, that typically happens after a steep, precipitous drop in the markets. I mean, that's just what we saw. So, that being said, money was made. And, I went on here, and this is well documented. You guys can rewind the tape, folks. But when energy, the price of that contract, that May contract at negative 37, that was right there telling you. And I didn't do it. I didn't back up the truck. I did get my clients exposed to energy and the ones who can assume the risk and because it is going to be volatile. So you have to be able to assume risk and volatility. But we did get exposed to some energy. And unfortunately, I did not back the truck up and just load up. And I wasn't buying individual energy stocks. I was buying a fund. And I could disclose what it was now because I wouldn't buy it today at these prices because we're up 30-40% in literally 2 weeks, but maybe 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. But I bought the First Trust AlphaDex Energy Fund. So ticker symbol FXN, Frank X-Ray Nancy. That's what we bought. I did not buy individual stocks. I did have a few clients call and say, hey, I'm willing to take the risk and buy some not OxyContin, Occidental Petroleum. So, and they did a little bit of that. But today I want to talk about a couple things. A lot of folks have been asking me since this big drop, and especially the shutdown in the leisure industry and the travel industry, what about airlines? What about cruise lines? And I've been saying the whole time that I wouldn't buy them. Me personally, I wouldn't buy them for my clients because I don't know. And I said this specifically about airlines and cruise lines. Some of these companies are not going to make it. I don't know which ones. I'm not smart enough to figure out which one of these companies are going to go bankrupt because I was shocked to find out that they couldn't go 2 weeks without cash flow. I mean, that really, you would think a Delta Airlines, a JetBlue, these United, these companies had more than 2 weeks worth of working capital. Okay, that's number one. But this morning, we got news that Norwegian Cruise Line, so that's NCLH, ticker symbol on the NASDAQ. And I'll bring you up a chart on that one. Let's see here. Okay, let's find it. Okay, this is a chart of Norwegian Cruise Line. It is an absolute abomination. As you can see, it was chugging along here at $50 and change, and now sitting at 12 and change. It tried to rally. Look, big volume took the stock higher recently, but then news came out this morning that they themselves said they weren't sure they could sustain as a growing concern. I know this. If you're a shareholder, that's the growing concern because you may get wiped out. They're going to try and get financing. Carnival got some financing. They did an offering, and they got some money to sustain them. Look, the whole landscape is changing. Are they going to be able to pack 3,000 people on a cruise? I don't know. I heard yesterday, I mean, for us football fans, first of all, I'm dying without sports. We should be right in the midst of baseball season and the end of the NBA playoffs. I mean, this is usually a great time of year because you get the NBA playoffs, baseball season, and then a training camp for football starts in July, so that's exciting. I need a sip. But there's nothing But the Miami Dolphins, which by the way had a fantastic draft, I'm extremely happy with that draft. I do like Tua. I think he's going to be great. If he doesn't get injured, he'll be great. Anyway, the Miami Dolphins said in Hard Rock Stadium they're going to let 15,000 people in. Their plan is to let 15,000 in for football games in a stadium that holds 70. You're talking 20% of capacity of that stadium. Is there going to be any home field advantage? Because it's the crowd that gets the teams, that helps the teams, the 12th man. But anyway, look, it's a new world. Like I said, America 2.0, we'll have to figure it out. This is not going to last forever. And as I said, that March 23rd low is still intact. But anyway, let's get back to the cruise lines. Look, I'm real nervous about them. There's going to be survivors because people love to cruise. It's a reasonably priced vacation. All right, I personally go crazy on a cruise. I can't be confined. My confinement is regards to a blackjack table or a craps table. I like that, but I'm not somebody that likes to lay out in the sun and hang out. I'm not into that. But a lot of people do. So that being said, there's a place for some cruise lines. Consolidation, I don't know. We'll see. But also announced over the weekend, Warren Buffett, recognized as the world's greatest investor, dumped all his airline exposure. Done. He wants nothing to do with them. He probably has the same feeling a lot of other investors like myself feels like who's going to make it, who's not going to make it. What's going to change? Are they only going to be able to fly half capacity? Look, if I were the airlines, what I would have done is I would have loaded up on futures contracts when they were negative. Think about that. You could have loaded up barrels of oil and all you have to do is refine them for your fuel. I mean, that would have been incredibly smart, but they didn't have the cash to do it. I'm sure some bought. But anyway, that being said, again, I'm staying away from the airlines. I'm staying away from the cruise lines. I'm staying away from the hotels right now. I just really don't want to own them. But as I said, things are happening. All right, things are getting a little bit better. We're seeing the testing. We're seeing some results. But my concern is this market, if you think it's going to go back to where it was in February at those all-time highs, I think that you're wishing on a star. Okay, this is it's a pipe dream because we were already fairly valued. I'm not going to say overvalued, but the valuations had been stretched in mid-February, and now we don't even have the earnings to back it. And in many cases, unless you are a 3M that's selling tons of masks, or you are a hospital or something, you're not going to make the earnings or the profits that you were. So realistically, that Dow 29,000 that everybody saw, you're not going to see that again. We're going to get back and we're going to go up, and I believe we'll be higher a year from now than we are today. And you have to think of everything as a long-term investment. That's what you should be if you're in the stock market. But Disney reports earnings, and this is an incredibly important story here for our community here in Central Florida because they are the largest employer. So they report earnings after the close. This just in. They're not going to be good. But the whole world's expecting that Disney earnings, I'll pull up a chart of it, that Disney earnings are going to be bad. The question is, and I think it's on everybody's mind, is when will they reopen? Because I was watching some news stories yesterday. Restaurants around the iDrive and all around the attractions area, I mean, they're going to reopen, but they depend on the tourism. So if Universal and Disney and all the parks, SeaWorld, they're not opening, they're in deep doo-doo. So I hear conversations, June 1st, July 1st. There was an analyst at UBS that caused some panic, which I think was irresponsible. Said January 1st. But I'll show you a chart of Disney. And look, this is the stock has been doing extremely well. Back here, end of the year is 150. Down here, after the drop, it was down to 80. Think about that. Now, we picked up some shares for a few people in this area. I think that owning Disney down in this area, near the $100 level, and we closed yesterday at 102. I think owning Disney around here for a long-term investment would be a great play because they're going to come back. Again, what semblance of their comeback, we don't know. So that's where the question marks. And first of all, Wall Street hates question marks. So we'll see what happens at Disney after the close. I have to tell you, I'm really impressed with some stocks out there. I'm impressed with things like Netflix. I mean, it's a stay-at-home stock. I'm impressed with Apple. Apple's been acting incredibly well. Apple's only about 12% from its high, and it had already been acting well. So there's some stocks out there working. You just got to find them. And that's what we're here to help you do. Find the segments of the economy, find the segments of the stock market. You can reach us down here. You see the ticker. That's my office number. You can call if you want to have a portfolio review, you want to look at a financial plan, or you want to discuss what works for you retirement-wise. We can help you there. Also, we have a lot of things going on during the week. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, the Hump Day Market Update. That's my long format. I'll be on at 7 o'clock sharp. We'll go for about 30 minutes. I'll be taking your questions. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and email Nikki today, nikki@stockdr.com. You see that in the ticker? Wait, ticker. Okay. Nikki@stockdr.com. We're calling your question. I'll answer it tomorrow night. We have a podcast that we've been releasing on Fridays, and that's kind of what's happened the week previously and what to expect a week forward. So that's good. That's the Stock Doctor's Prescription. That's on Apple. That's on Spotify, Anchor. That's on all kinds of things. All right. But I'm Lee Seiler, also known as the Stock Doctor. I thank you for joining us. Please share this video. Please join me tomorrow night on the Hump Day Market Update. And until then, I'll talk to you later.